Hi there. Today I want to talk a little bit about something that I see over and over again, and I may have talked about it before, but it keeps coming up. So I'm going to keep talking about it because it's not the issue isn't going to go away, and it is people selling themselves short with their skills, and I know we can all be guilty of it. It seems especially prominent in women, and potentially with ADHD, because we've, depending on your experience with it and what you've been told and what you've absorbed and just like picked up from the ether about what ADHD is and what your capabilities are and aren't, or how you've been treated before, or even without ADHD, or even without being female. There's all kinds of things that can make you feel like your skills are not either valuable, or you don't really even think about what skills you have. And so in this particular instance, I was talking with a woman who's creative, and I was asking some questions, trying to get some more details out of her about some of the things that she's skilled at. And I asked her to take me through the process of when she has an idea to when she brings something to life. And I was like, I don't, use terms, whatever. I don't, this is not for anything. It's just for me to hear what it is that you do. And if I don't understand something that you're talking about, I'll ask a question. And she went through and just explained this process of having her idea, and then all of the steps that it took to bring that idea, that creative idea, into a piece of art. And I know this inherently because just a little tangent. A long time ago, I was watching a bricklayer. He was doing some work at one of the houses I lived in a long time ago, and I was watching him. And I mean, he'd clearly been doing this for years, and it was just like, and I was young. It was just like this, the motion and the slap and the tamp, and everything's beautiful. Like it was so rhythmic, and it looked so easy. And then he left for the day, and there was like a little bit of mortar left. And I was like, I bet I could do this, because of the arrogance of youth. And I tried it, and it doesn't seem like it should be that hard, but that's because of the amount of practice and the amount of skill and technique that this person had been honing over years and years and years and years. And here I am, like, oh, well, that looks easy. So that was a good lesson for me way back then, that if something looks easy, it's probably because the person who's doing it is really, really good at it, because very few things are that easy. And so in this case, with this woman's art, she was explaining all of the things that she's got to keep in her mind and plan for and think about and adapt. And but she wasn't thinking about those skills in those ways. That was just part of her process. And so when she was done, I was like, okay, well, what I heard is that you have to plan out this whole project. You have to think about the steps. You have to figure out what's going to limit your next move. Like if you have to wait for something to dry, or to, cure, or whatever, that's going to affect your timeline. You've got to balance all of these things. You've got to be thinking all of these steps ahead. And sometimes things aren't going to work like you want. You have to adapt. I was like, those are amazing skills, but she wasn't thinking about them like that. And I think partly, some of this might be because if you're deemed creative, then you can't possibly have organizational skills. And if you're ADHD, you struggle with organizational skills. But when it's something that you're focused on and that it matters, you have those skills, and you can apply those to so many other things. If you're looking to change your career or start a new business, and you think that, I don't have what it takes. Well, look at what you do and really try to break it down. And sometimes this is why I advocate talking with someone else. And it doesn't have to be a coach. It could be just a friend, someone who doesn't do exactly what you do, so that they can ask questions and they can see things from a different perspective, because we all are susceptible to forgetting what we didn't know once we know it, or how hard things were to learn and to think about when we were learning them. So again, it's this, something that is habitual becomes a problem when you can't then it's great in some ways, but when you can't separate it out and see all of the unique skills and talents and bits of knowledge that you have that have taken you from here to here, that you think of as just like one event, and it's not. It's, so if you can take something that you think of as commonplace and just really break it down into, if I was trying to explain to, a child, or a bright adult or a bright child or someone, how would I explain all of these things, and what kinds of things would we be talking about, and what would I be cautioning them about from my experience? You'll start to see a lot of hidden skills in what you do that that you're probably not thinking about, and or you tend to then poo-poo them and be like, oh, well, everybody does that. And I can tell you that that's not true. Even when it feels like everybody has a skill set that you don't, especially with ADHD, you have skills that they don't. Everybody has a skill that is valuable to somebody else. And I swear it's in there. And I hope you're able to find that if you're feeling down or struggling with whatever that is. But I know that I see a lot of women, especially, selling themselves short, and I hate to see that. I've struggled with it myself. I still struggle with it, but that is why I am working to build up a community of people who can kind of be that sounding board, and that oh, hey, have you thought about it this way? Because that's one thing that we are excellent at doing, and that is thinking about things differently. And what can we do if we harness that power? Anyway, if you would like to subscribe and share and I would appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon.